Go on.
South London's Finest has said, DG, knowing Bielsa has managed Pepe, and we know the stories on how intense his training is, how come he can play in his system but struggle to get game time with Arteta? What have you got to say on that, Curtis?
I think Arteta's got too caught up in that. You know, you see that with some managers. You know, I read a thing with John Obi Mikel. He said that Eden Hazard was the worst trainer at Chelsea. He said he did the bare minimum. He just got through it. He didn't excel. He didn't strain himself. But you all knew this guy's the best player on the pitch come Saturday. Sometimes you have these managers who are like, you've got to be absolute bang at it in every training session. Me personally, I don't believe in that. You know, some of the best players I've ever played with, even at the level I've played, are not great trainers. It's just that motivation is different. You know, I've seen you on a match day, bruv. You're an absolute lunatic. You know what I mean?
I'm poor in training. I can't cap. I'm poor in training. My guy told me that he even plays for my Sunday league team. Listen, on the Sunday, he's one of the best players there are. Training, you'd think he's one of the worst. So it's all about managing these maverick players. Obviously, not everyone can be like that, my guy. But when you have a mercurial talent, not that I'm saying Pepe is of the levels of players like that, but when you've got a certain player like that, you've got to coach them right. Like Jack Grealish, he's probably a madness in training, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if somebody told me, yo, listen, you wouldn't believe that's the Jack Grealish on Sunday because on the training ground it's this and that. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but I'm sure I heard Tevez weren't the best of trainer. Would you have got that seeing him on a Sunday? It's about the personality. You have to have the IQ around the player. Of course, 100%. I want 25 man, you know. He's saying sprint 1 million times, you're doing 2 million. Of course, I want stuff like that. But you've got to be sensible. And when you've got players like that, not that I'm saying Pepe deserves that, because like you mentioned, Hazard for me has earned that right. I don't think Pepe's earned that right to do them things. But you've got to have the IQ around players and managing them, man. I don't believe, like you said, I don't believe in the everyone must train and run up and down. When you got man like Tierney, you know, they train as you play. And then you've probably got other people, you know. People probably be shocked who actually performs in training and who doesn't really.
Bro, do you know the thing as well? Like, to me, the best managers, what they can show is they can work with what they've got. Now, Mikel Arteta is showing that he doesn't trust a lot of the players in this squad. But the reality is that's what you've got to work with right now until the summer or January. So show that you can work with them. Now, Willian, we've spoke about Willian a lot, and most fans at the moment are fuming with Willian. What I will say is this. Willian, statistically, in terms of goals and assists, had his best season last season, right? He was still 31, 32 at that time. I'm not saying that means he's the answer for us, but what I'm saying, he was producing something for Chelsea. So how has he gone from that last season, a Chelsea team that wasn't even great, to come into Arsenal and looking that bad? Again, we are going to blame Willian, and rightly so, but some of the blame has to go on the manager. How come you're not getting anything out of something that Frank Lampard was getting something out of? So you have to ask these questions. He can't just turn around and keep saying, I don't really, I don't trust these players. I want my own squad. Bruv, you're lucky to have the Arsenal job. We are the third biggest club in English football. By right, Arteta should be nowhere near the Arsenal job. If you're looking at the CV, you got a great opportunity. You knew what you was walking into. I'm sure the board would have told him, you ain't going to have 150 million to spend in the window. You got to work with it, you know? So I think Arteta, for me, the guy's not doing himself no favours. And I think unless he changes his mentality and his way of thinking, I think he's going to have a very difficult season. And as I said, he's lucky that the fans aren't in the ground because, you know, after Aston Villa, you've been in the Emirates enough times, bro. Them fans will be booing him.
Boy, yeah, it will get so long for Donny, man. It wouldn't actually. I don't know. And you made a great point about Willian, how, you know, we had to get him. I remember when Arteta came, he spoke about Premier League proven. Now, clearly, nobody's expecting Willian to be up there with Mo Salah, with Mane, and the rest of them. But I'm seeing people, not that Arteta was saying it, but we were saying, you know, Pepe new to the league, blah, blah, blah. Willian, Premier League proven. Why haven't we got the same Willian? You know, that Willian that started well against Fulham, and I think people over-exaggerated. Why hasn't that persisted? You've heard Willian even give an interview. He's, you know, I'm happy with the coaching and happy with Arteta, but he says little things like not that he's frustrated, but sometimes I can't be in this area because of what the manager's telling me. Now, as poor as Willian has been in wanting balance, you have to, and he has to take the full blame of that. Like you said, we have to look at Arteta because he's telling these players what to do. This is why I tell fans fans, until it becomes a clear thing where it's the manager or clearly the players, you have to level out the blame elsewhere because they're all playing. When we win, we always, you know, sing Arteta's name to the high heavens. So why not use the same balance and questioning? Not that we want him to fail. Why hasn't it worked? As my man has said, we've only kept 2 clean sheets in 8 games. We've conceded a lot, but we don't score a lot. Now, granted, let's look again balance, because we have had Liverpool and City. When we look at it without emotion, not that it's a good result, but you know, we've been used to cricket scores. That's balance.
Bro, you see, like, and you make a great point there about Willian, because I remember an interview that Henry did where he was talking about Pep Guardiola, and he said he was playing on the left, and he said it was a Champions League game, and he went on the right off his own accord. Do you remember that? And he said he scored, and he said, I come in at half time, and Pep dragged him. Pep was like, listen, you stay within that system. Now, is Arteta doing that same thing? Because when I'm watching Arsenal now, it does look quite regimented. It looks like, yo, this is the system and you stick with it. You, man, don't start interchanging and moving and going where you want. Because look at Aubameyang. Aubameyang's hugging the touchline this season. I haven't seen that.
I'm seeing him cross the ball, bro. Your top goal scorer, the most potent guy in your team, crossing the ball. As I said last season, if I'm a defender trying to get 3 points, I'm effing laughing. It's like against... If I'm Johnny Evans, who's still a good defender but losing your legs, you've got the pace of Aubameyang. He's crossing the ball for Saka and people that are half your height, and the team's meant to be chasing the game. You're absolutely laughing, and it's these things that I'm looking at as a fan. You lot play football, you know football, you know you've got whole heap of UEFA qualifications and things. What you know more than me, so why can't you lot see this? And it's like, it's every game. If it happens isolated, okay, cool, these things happen. But it's almost 9 times out of 10, the same themes are occurring. Like, it's not making no sense.
Yeah, brother. And I don't understand why the manager won't change it. It's crazy because Aubameyang, what someone said is, you know, I wonder if Aubameyang wants to play on the left, because Aubameyang's never really spoken about it. We're all saying put him through the middle. You know, I wonder, as he signed a new contract playing on the left, so... But I think it's how he was playing on the left. He was playing on the left as like a striker on the left.
Now he's a winger.
Now he's a winger. He's hugging touchline now and running back. So I think, I always say in football, you can turn things around. You know, things change quickly in football. We beat Leeds. We put in a positive performance. Aubameyang scores. Things look a lot more rosy. We're only 6 points off the top of the league. I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but we can at least get close to that top 4. But it has to change quick. Someone saying near Willian at Cam. I remember when we signed Willian, me and you were talking about that, saying, listen, to me, that's a position I would have liked to have seen him play. I think he went there for 20 minutes against Sheffield United, and we looked better in that second half.
Facts.
So he's got to change things quickly, you know. At the moment, I'm going to be totally honest. At this present moment, I do not think Mikel Arteta is the right manager for Arsenal. I got to be honest. I'm laying it out there. But what I will say, he can change it. He can turn that around. I'm not saying get him out. I'm saying at the moment, I don't like what I'm seeing from the team. And because this is Arsenal, we're not some mid-table team that's just like going through the motions. We're trying to get back to near the top of the Premier League.
Yeah.
We're falling further behind.
Quite spoiled, really and truly. Like, even we've won FA Cups, you know, many fans of other clubs would look at it and say, yeah, you can cry about being failures. You've spent 70 million on a player. You won an FA Cup in recent years, as recent as last year. What are you lot moaning about? Sort of thing. So we do have a bit of balance, which most fans don't get. But it's just, if the board just tell us, like, you don't get the vibe. Well, Arsenal's one of these clubs, if you look at in the Premier League, you don't get the vibe there's a direction. Like, you look at people below us, if you can even say that. Wolves, you knew initially they're just trying to stay in the Premier League, but they're trying to do this Europe thing. Leicester are trying to do this top 4 thing, you know. Spurs are even showing more ambition in a regards, you know. Everybody's, you look at Arsenal, you probably look at West Ham, you don't, 2 clubs off the top of my head, you don't really see direction. You kind of have an idea and an inkling as to what they want to do, but you don't have an evident sort of plan and direction sort of thing. Like, it really doesn't make sense. We got a question here. We've got a question here, and I wanted to put it to you. Do you think there's a